All right, friends, this is our seventh and final day of our Bad Bunny inspired cocktail countdown. Welcome back, friends. So today, literally the last cocktail. It's a little bittersweet, just like our last cocktail, in the sense that this has been fun. This has been a nice little reprieve from our regularly scheduled programming. It was fun to kind of go through and find these classics and kind of just put a twist on them, and figure out a way that there's a reason why classics are the way they are. But it was fun to try to color outside the lines. So that was a good experience. It was a good time. Kind of sad that it's over now. Maybe I'll kind of come back to this from time to time. But either way, guys, today's our last day, so we're going to go ahead and visit this last cocktail. This is something slightly different from what we've done so far. So I said it on one of the other videos how much I absolutely loved Un Verano Sin Ti. And it was just one of these where I really enjoyed that one. I had listened to Bad Bunny before. I had enjoyed his music, but I didn't consider myself a fan until Un Verano Sin Ti. To me, that album is, as far as music goes, I don't think you can get closer to an album that every single song on it is perfection. And it has range, and it was just, you had, fun tracks, you had party tracks, you had, merengue, you had a little bit of everything on that album that was just, like I said, it was pretty close to perfect. I really enjoyed, like I said, I really enjoyed the album. I enjoyed also like the thematic elements of it, right? The fact that it was this, promising new love, the fact that it was romantic, it was hopeful, it was sexy, it was flirty. And I joked, all right, this was a joke, a few people who know me heard this, heard me say, because I said it a few times, that the follow-up album for Un Verano Sin Ti should have been Un Invierno Contigo. And like I said, this was my own personal joke. It was me being silly, puns, a dad joke-ish type situation. But ultimately, it was one of these where I was like, I was kidding. I was like, the next album coming out, Un Verano Sin Ti, Un Invierno Contigo, basically following up to Un Verano Sin Ti. To me, the fun of it, though, was considering that where Un Verano Sin Ti was hopeful. It had the promise of, new love. It had, it was romantic. It was sexy. Un Invierno Contigo was the opposite. So it was going to be toxic. It was going to be, bitter. It was going to be like a rough relationship. It was going to be like, and I had even made up the story of how, Un Verano Sin Ti with this promising new love was something where we were talking about a new relationship, someone who had gone through, they had met in Puerto Rico, they were on the beach, it's that summer love, and now unfortunately, be it a job opportunity, be it whatever it was, here they are locked in an apartment in New York, freezing cold, dead of winter, and that would be the follow-up album. And that's today's drink, Un Invierno Contigo. Unlike every other drink that I've had during this segment, where we've had these tropical themes, this is built strictly around, it's actually built around the person, but to me, this is my version of this. If I'm in that toxic album, if I'm stuck with this, I'm stuck in an apartment with this person in the cold, when I'm a tropical person, when I'm, yearn for that summer love, when I yearn for, trying to make that happen, I yearn for the beaches and the sun, I'm drinking a straight cocktail on the rocks, just because I have a hard time with warm alcohol. But if you notice, I bust out the fancy ice whenever I can, and this is not a time for fancy ice. This is literally just whatever ice we have on file, or on hand, I should say, and we're going with straight vodka. 2 fingers, no jiggers, just put your fingers, and that's it. You could go with bourbon, tequila, anything else, but to be honest, this is medicinal. This isn't about enjoyment. This isn't about the taste. This is about, taking off the pain. So we're going with something neutral. We're going with a nice neutral alcohol. vodka. I chose Goodnight Lovin', which is the brand we've been drinking lately. And this is Un Invierno Contigo. Cheers.